Hey guys, how's it going? We've got Honoree, we've got me, we've got the whole gang.
Nice. Hi.
I was trying to figure out how to get my screen to do the right thing. Did you like the fancy intro kind of
Yeah, I don't know what
music?
that was. I felt like I was on a game show or something. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, that's the only one that doesn't have numbers on it, like a countdown.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right.
So at
Fair
least
enough.
that I could find on Restream. So how are you doing today, Miss Honoree?
I'm pretty good. I'm 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 above ground.
We just got done filming a
Hi, ma'am.
episode.
I'm fantastic, Lucas. Actually. Um, I'm still as probably some people with us are reeling from daylight savings time. This is really the first year I can recall just being on the struggle bus with what time is it and when am I supposed to go to bed and why is it light outside now? I'm used to it being dark. I don't like it. I would like to introduce legislation, right? Like, can we
Again.
can we please not change the time forward and backwards? Must we do that? Whose idea is that? Who's behind that? Who's making money from that? We got to follow the money, right? Who's
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
It is you and I were reflecting on this in another video, but this is the first time it's really impacted me as well. And I think part of it was just like I'm so programmed right now to do what I do when I do it that when I broke away from that for just a little bit, it was like, you know.
Well, they took away an hour. I think if they gave us an extra hour, we would be, they give us an hour and they go, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, nope, you can't keep it.
Give me that back.
Yeah. Somebody wants us to be tired right now, Lucas, and it's working.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and let us know if you're on the struggle bus for this as well as us. I'm almost asking just because I need to make sure it's not just, like
It's not just us.
Yeah, make
Oh
me
no, I've
feel
talked to
better.
other people. I've had my cranky pants on all week and I've expressed my displeasure.
The cranky
Not
pants.
just us. Yeah.
So we've got a really interesting topic today.
Yeah, we do.
Something that matters a lot to entrepreneurs, well, anyone really in business, but specifically in our world of work.
Yep.
We see this quite often. And before we dive into the topic at hand, which is, nice guys finish first kind of mentality about like doing the right thing at all times and being a good person to people, human contact, being in the positive, all those good things. It's kind of fitting that our episode is sponsored by Helen Bullen's Commit to Achieve course, because could you get a better example of someone who like lives this?
No, you really couldn't. Nope. She is really a kind, good, also hilarious human being.
Yes.
Yes.
She really is. And she, that she created the Commit to Achieve course to help people kind of overcome some of the barriers to achieving the success in their business that they've been looking for. And she takes you through how to commit to your goals and objectives in your business in the course, Commit to Achieve. And it's fantastic. So we're super excited that Helen has shared that course with the Empire Builders MasterClass. And we'll drop some links in the show notes. But Helen, if you're watching this, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with everybody. We've got Pops in the house.
Hi, Pops.
Hello.
We went from Mr. Marino to Charlie to Pops in like one weekend. I mean, no disrespect. Hello, Charlie.
No. He actually is very happy to be called Pops.
Oh, good.
It's a term of endearment in our family. So
yes, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. I think it also, not to get too into entomology so early in our conversation, but it's the you can tell where people are from based on the words they use. Yeah, is it father or dad or pops or whatever? I don't know what else. What are the other names?
Papa?
Father, what? Papa?
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 I've got
What do you
friends.
call your dad? That's a question to put in the comments.
Yeah, what do you call your dad? That is a good question.
Yes.
I mean, clearly you guys know what I call my dad. If it's not dad, it's pops.
Right.
It's funny because working together, I have to introduce him to other people, like in business.
Yeah.
And I still introduce him as pops because I just can't bring myself to call my dad by his first name.
Yeah.
It's not how we grew up.
That's right. Where's Helen?
Helen, did you hear us talking very, very, very positively about you, Helen?
I hope she did. I hope she did.
I hope she did too. If not, she's now on the hook to go back and
now you have to watch the replay. Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Helen, your course, Commit to Achieve, was the comments or was the focus of our opening segment here, and how awesome it is. No, do it again, she says. We told you she had a great sense of humor.
Yes, this episode sponsored by Helen Bullen's course, Commit to Achieve. And we were saying, for those just tuning in, that Helen is just one of those people where the topic of our is nice guys finish first. That's and right. Helen is one of those people that is just a delight to know and work with, a person of integrity and kindness, and also should be a stand-up comedian.
Yes, she's hilarious.
Yes.
It almost makes it hard to not want to, just instantly become like Helen's best friend, because when you meet her, you're like, how can I not want to hang out with this person all the time? Yeah, here she is. Right. Yeah, there it is.
This is going. And also, she does stationery boxes. She has other courses. She does coaching. She's a business mentor. She is a personal mentor. More. She is an author. She has the first book was I've Got Your Back. And pretty soon she has another book coming out, as she is a cancer thriver. She got cancer and was like, I don't think so. And just kept it going.
Total inspiration.
Yeah, total inspiration. So, I mean, are we good, Helen? Do you need...
Can we do anything else for you?
We can do this for the whole hour. Was this the Helen? Okay, stop now. Okay. Awesome.
So, I mean, well, Helen, it was just fitting that, not to make comment about your head fitting through the door, but it was fitting to have your course as the example.
Yep.
And your personality as the example is what I was trying to say, of the right kind of person to do business with and to interact with as a professional in an entrepreneurial space. And the whole episode today is about being a relationship-based person and doing right by people and doing good things as an entrepreneur. And there are a lot of people out there doing good things, but they're maybe not taking the right approach. They don't necessarily mean bad, but they don't come across the way they actually probably want to.
The way they think they're coming across.
Right, exactly. Sure. Because, and I'm not saying that, I'm the perfect guy to work with or that the perfect client to have. I've had coaches that would tell you that there were times when they wanted to hug me and there's times when they want to choke me. But I've always prided myself on being the kind of person that they can say they enjoyed working with in the end, right? Because it's a good person to them. And I'm only throwing myself out there to say that I've also had times where people have told me that we're not the right fit. And I've actually let clients go before because I didn't feel like we were a good fit. And it was something to do with either our personalities not aligning or something to do with the way we were conducting our business. And Honoree, you and I had spoken before the episode about what people say to you and versus what people say about you. And can you kind of open that door a little bit and talk a little bit about why that's important?
Yeah, well, I want to give a shout out to Jen Pisano, who is also another person who's just fantastic to work with. But there's something that I have heard said, and I have said it, which is what you just said, to paraphrase. It's not what people say to you about you. It's what people say about you when you're not around, right? Mm-hmm. Because, and we're going to go right into The Godfather right now, right? We're going to just make a left turn at Hollywood cinema and say, are you a friend of mine, or are you a friend of ours, right? So that's a made guy reference, right? You want to be a made guy. You want to be the person that when you're not around, they say, this is absolutely the person you need to work with. This is the person who has your back, who is a relationship person. They're not a transactionship person. They will take good care of you in whatever form or fashion. I love making recommendations of people. I wholeheartedly endorse people that are relationship people. And I like talking about people behind their back and saying great things about them. It's really hard when someone wants to ask me about someone that I can't wholeheartedly endorse. That's really such a bummer.
Yeah, that really is.
Yeah.
Because they might produce great work, but there's something that's going on with their business or the way they conduct themselves that precludes you from wanting to put your name on that referral.
Right. And here's why. Because I would never want someone to call you and go, you referred me to Honoree and she was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate that. That would just be such a bummer. And the flip side of that is I don't want to hear that somebody I referred did not do a good job. And when I hear that, it is so frustrating because I feel like I have to go, oh, well, they're really busy, or they've been on vacation, or they were trapped under something heavy.
Again. Seems to happen all the time.
I just want to hear, thanks for the referral. That went great.
Right.
The end. That's what I want to hear.
Right.
And so if I can't be positive, if I'm not positive, I'm going to hear that, then I'm not going to make the referral.
Yeah.
And so what people say about you is really important. So you want to have good street cred and physical presence. And I hear a little echo for some reason.
Really?
I do.
Don't make me do it again.
Yeah, I want you to put on your Princess Leia.
I'm doing it. I'm going Princess Leia mode. I should just go Princess Leia every time.
Well, I mean,
it's the problem with having a good mic. It's like, I want to pick up everything.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, you want to have good brand presence. You want to be an excellent steward of the work that you do for other people. And you want, when someone does not have to, and you would never know if they did, say something really great about you. I ran into someone who talked to someone else that I know that I am wanting to work with. And the one person said, oh, I was having lunch with this other person and they brought up your name. And I was like, yay, you should work with her. Totally. And I thought, oh my gosh, I had no idea they knew each other. I had no idea my name was going to come up. Totally different universes. I mean, it's a small, small world after all, right? But thank goodness the word on the street was good, because they also could have never said anything to me and been like, yeah, I'd stay away from her if I were you. Right? That would not be good. There's Kellen. Hey, Kellen.
Yeah. And we did, I'm assuming this is Jen because of the stars at the end. Jen, that's nice by that you can use the icon too, so you don't have to worry about typing your name every 5 seconds, but love it. Thanks for the referral. That went great. The end. It's perfect, right?
Yeah.
It was, it's funny because I've had to contact friends before that maybe something didn't go smoothly.
Right.
Someone else asked me to talk to them because they know I care about them. They're like, hey, maybe you should reach out to this person and talk to them.
Right.
And I'm happy to be entrusted to do that kind of thing on behalf of that kind of friendship.
However,
it's a little heartbreaking because you know how good someone is and you know that they mean well, but they can come across the wrong way or do something by habit the wrong way, or maybe they don't even know they're really doing it and you just have to be able to bring it to their attention. So I think, being a good friend to other people is kind of like a requirement. If a buddy of yours, guy or gal, is finding themselves in a situation where maybe they're starting to fall down a transactional road because they're so wrapped up in the business side of things. I've been there before where I just step back after a phone call and go, what did I just say? Like, I didn't mean to be so pitchy or salesy in that call. I feel that way. That's not relationship based type business that I try to manage.
Right.
That person might walk away, and you know what? They're probably not going to say anything bad about me publicly, but they might say something bad about me in private, or maybe not bad, but not super favorable.
Right. Well, and nobody's perfect. Everyone has their day. And oh my gosh, I'm laughing right now. Jen.
I didn't even mean to click on that one. That's funny.
Jen, that's awesome.
Literally saw it when it came on the screen.
Hi, Renee.
There's Renee.
Renee. Yeah. So you don't want to have conversations with people because they're underperforming or not performing or are being perceived in a negative way. No one wants that feedback, and no one wants to give that feedback for sure. So you want to make sure that your marketing game is really strong and your brand game is really strong and your content game is really strong, that you are a relationship person versus a transactionship person. And I don't think anyone would say, I'm just a transactional guy, or I'm just a transactional gal. I don't really care about people, although I'm sure people say that, right? I'm sure there are some people that say that, but I think most people would say, oh no, I'm totally about the relationship. But you and I know at least a few people that we would say, based on results, and this is how you always know, right? Based on results, you can tell what someone's committed to. Nothing else tells the tale. Like, are you committed to X, Y, and Z? Are you committed to quality? Are you committed to the relationship? Or are you committed to the transactionship? The governor, the measurement is always, what are the results that you're getting?
Right.
And so, if I only hear from someone when they want something, and it happened the other day, I haven't heard from someone for years, but they wanted something and they knew I could give it to them. Right?
That's when the phone rings.
That's when I get the phone call. That's when I get the email or the text message. And I just kind of look at my phone and I'm like, you in danger, girl.
Right? I know what's going to happen if I answer this call.
Like, well, but I'm happy to hear from people. I just wish that they would not just pick up the phone when they want something or send an email when they want something. It's like, how about we just add in an element of keeping the relationship going? If you really like someone, right? If you really like someone, then just when they cross your mind, go, hey, I was just thinking about you because wanted to say hello. Don't need anything, don't want anything. Because when you do need or want something, I don't want someone to go, I haven't heard from her for 5 years. I'm not taking that call. I'm not taking that email. Alternatively, I know that there are a lot of people I could reach out to when I do need or want something, because I have taken the time to wish them a happy birthday, comment and like their posts, send them an email a couple of times a year, pick up the phone and leave them a message, or send a voice text. Voice texts are my favorite. Really like those.
Yeah.
Right. Kellen, it's John Ruhlin's birthday today. Speaking of birthdays. John Ruhlin, for those of you who don't know, wrote a great book called Giftology, and it's all about thoughtful gift giving. P.S. Don't give someone merchandise with your logo on it.
And if you do, it's in addition to something cool.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But John Ruhlin actually sent me a Cutco knife set, and in one of those big, huge knife sets with all of the knives, which is, Byron loves it. He does all the cooking, right? I like open packages. But each of the knives,
Byron.
Yes, each of the knives has one of my book titles on it.
Oh, that's cool.
The knives were sent to me 2 or 3 at a time over several months, because there are a lot of knives in the set. So I had got like 4 knives in a block, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this block? I don't know that I'm highly incented to buy a knife set because I don't cook. I bake. I'm a baker. I'm a baker and an eater, not a cook. But then the next month I get another box with 2 more knives with 2 more book titles on them. I was like, this is really cool. also, as an aside, the funny thing is that my book, If Divorce is a Game, These Are the Rules, that book title came on the butcher knife. And I did ask, was this on purpose? The answer was no, but I was like, well played. Well played, well done. But thoughtfulness, and being thoughtful, it doesn't necessarily have to be gift giving. Sometimes it can just be a card. Sometimes it can just be a text message. But there's another saying, which I think is important, which is people don't know or don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you care about people and they know it, they will go all the way for you. They will become your advocates, your super fans. They will shout everything from the biggest rooftop. So who posted a book to an Amazon? What's the book?
I think it's Jen. I'm getting ready to pull it up in a second.
Click on it. Okay. I want to know.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to click on it.
Okay, hold on. I'll go to a different browser. Hold, please. Hold while I check this for us. Giftology, of course. That's Jen.
There you go.
Perfect. And there's
thank you, Jen.
Yeah. Giftology is a wonderful book about gift giving and thoughtful gift giving, and when to send something and what it is that you can send. And it doesn't have to be a lot, right? I mean, sometimes it's very simple and easy to make someone really happy by getting them something that they would love and use. And
yeah. So I mean, the whole transactional thing was interesting to me to kind of contemplate, because there's times when I really want a transactional experience, but it's not because I don't like the person, or because I know, which is like, okay, you get it, right? It's like, yeah, just hurry up and get out of here, right? But it's like, it's not the same if I'm working one-on-one with somebody than if like I'm buying tickets at the movie theater, right? They can still be
right. I don't want to get into a 20-minute conversation while the movie is starting, right?
So, but you can't win. Right. And so, it works in that direction. Well, it works in the other direction too, guys. If you're a one-on-one consultant, coach, you're serving people.
Read the room.
If it's not a transactional type relationship, don't be a transactional type person. If that's not the nature of the work, you have to fit the nature of the work. And if you're just not down for that, I don't think coaching is probably the best career choice for you. Consulting in some spaces can be a transactional thing, but in most cases, at least in our space, the kind of creative entrepreneur space, they really need someone to confide in, and they need someone to work very closely with. Even if you're not a coach and you're strictly consulting, they still need that level of interaction. And you need to be someone that you would want on your team if you were to hire somebody, is kind of the way I look at it. But it wasn't apparent to me until I've found some success as an entrepreneur, how egregious some of that can get. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to hash out like a bunch of like drag things into
we're going to name names. No.
Yeah, but I'll just give some general examples, right? So every coach I've ever hired has been someone I felt like I wanted to talk with. It's someone that I needed in my life as someone that could be objective and critical, but be professional and honest. And it's hard to be that if you're simply transactional. I didn't want to never hear from that person again. I didn't want them to treat me just like a cash exchange, because those types of deals come with a significant financial investment. And so when I'm paying that kind of money, I expect some type of relationship, and it should be a positive one. I don't want to pay that kind of money and have a strictly transactional relationship. It doesn't mean they can't be brutally honest. It doesn't mean they can't be.
No, in fact, you can't be brutally honest with your coaching client unless they know that you care about them.
Yes.
And they trust you, because otherwise,
right.
It's feedback. Who wants feedback? I mean, people go, I want feedback. And I'll say, I want feedback, but I mean, also bring me a cookie.
Well, I mean, I had a conversation with one of my clients this week, and we've been through a coaching process now for about a month and a half, 2 months. So the conversations we were having in the beginning are very similar to the conversations we're having today, but what's changed? We have known each other longer. They're hearing with different ears now because they see, right? They've been through a process and they're like, oh, now I see. Now I get why you were saying the things. I was being what you would probably call a little more like brutally honest in the beginning, still with that nice soft merino touch, right? But now when they hear the words, they're like, oh my gosh, I can see it. I can feel what you're saying. I can see the results of that in my business. And I get it, right? So I think as a person who's relationship based, when you're serving people, you know how to deliver the news to the person when they need to hear it, how they need to hear it,
right?
Without crushing them.
Sometimes I don't deliver the news until I have more of a relationship with someone, because I want them to really understand that I am not being critical.
Yeah.
I am concerned, right? I want them to get the most juice for the squeeze. I want them to get the best return on investment. And if I was just, especially when it comes to books, I'll just use books as an example. Yes, kindly blunt, definitely, for sure.
That's Helen Bowen's.
That's Helen's. She's kindly
that's her
blunt.
phrase. Yeah.
That is her phrase. If I were to give someone feedback on their book cover, let's say, they're going to be freaking out because everybody's like, do you like my book cover? And they know I'm looking at it in all the different ways, right? I'm looking at it from an effectiveness perspective, from a design perspective. I want all the things. So if I'm like, I don't know, they might just think, oh, she's just judging me in my book. And nobody wants to feel judged. Right. I mean, and if you are judged, you want to be judged by the American judge, not the East German judge, right? Like,
yeah,
you want to get a 10. You want to get a 10, not a 6.5. So, right. So, anyway, you have to. I did it. I was being bossy. I was not being kindly blunt. I basically said, you must do something. I think the thing that will make all of the difference long-term in your business, and whether people are still advocating for you a long time later, is when they know that you actually care about the people that you do business with, not just the business that you do.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, everybody's busy. Everybody's got all the things going on. If you only show up, like you said, if you only call when you need something, I mean, it's like you're just telling them that they weren't important enough to talk to unless there was some demand signal in your life. And by the way, Jen, I'm happy to be adopted. I already have a brother who I like to call my sister, but I guess I'll just call you my sister instead. He's not even listening to this. I wish he was, because that'd be great. Right now, my dad's laughing. He's like, ha.
My son and my daughter.
He's bigger than me, so I do have to be careful. So when we talk about like setting a standard in behavior, right? So you're kind of like, if you're working with people, you're kind of showing them how you want to be treated by the way you treat them, right?
Yeah.
And I really liked you and I were having a conversation earlier about how to set the standard in your business. And it's not just about the way you treat someone to show them how you want to be treated, but it's also about like what people see of you, right? So they see how you treat other people. They witness how you perform it, both publicly and privately, with other people, and they kind of draw conclusions about you and your behavior, whether you like that or not. They do. That's human nature. Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about setting the standard, because I think you're kind of don't get crazy here, Luke, but I kind of look up to the way you carry yourself in your business. I think, Honoree, you're very professional and you do a very good job of setting the standard for that kind of interaction with people. So
I'm just reading your dad's comment real quick. Hold on. Hold, please. There are two knuckleheads when they get together. Well, I hope to see that at a crawfish boil.
You notice I never told you about him coming, right? Tammy's balances me.
You're coming to the crawfish boil.
Yeah, Tammy balances me. Dad balances me. When my brother's around, it's like just throw fuel on a fire and watch the two burn themselves down.
All right. I'm gonna pour a mojito.
It is entertaining.
A virgin mojito and pop some popcorn and be ready for that. Well, I have learned a lot how to carry myself by how other people have carried themselves with me, both, again, not good, bad, right, or wrong, but effectively and ineffectively.
Right.
Like, I know when, let's talk masterminds for a second. I have been in different masterminds where I was, and there's only one term for it, chattel. I was one of the little people who paid for the big people to have the privilege of being there, right? And it was extra apparent who the host preferred, who the cool kids were, who got preferential seating and treatment and all of those things, while those of us who were not quite so horsepowery, and I mean, this is a decade ago, and there were some things that were done well, but the experience left me very aware and with eyes wide open about how I never wanted someone to feel in my presence. I never want someone to feel small or not seen or missed. And so that's one instance. I have worked with people who are world famous, like no household name type folks who are the most lovely and kind people. I have worked with people who would throw their grandmother down a flight of stairs to be world famous and make that apparent and are not quite as lovely.
We love you, Grandma.
Right. No,
you're safe with us.
No, we're harmed in the making of this video. And interesting to watch, right? Interesting to watch people who would sacrifice anything or anyone for fame or fortune. And noted what those interactions were like. And also the casual encounter, so that everyone always asks me, like, why did you first write a book? And I will say Mark Victor Hansen and I met at an event and we had a conversation that changed my life. He has no recollection of this conversation. And I know that because we have a mutual friend. And when my friend said, don't throw people down the stairs. When my friend said, oh my gosh, well, I know him, I'm going to FaceTime him right now. And he FaceTimes Mark and Mark's in the car and he's like, Mark, this is Honoree, this is Mark. Mark, you changed your life with the conversation. Mark was like, that's great. I have no recollection of this conversation. I have no recollection of this event that you're talking about. Right?
Did he remember you?
Not even a little.
That's fun.
Nope. No knowledge of me whatsoever. No knowledge I exist. No knowledge of all my books. No knowledge that he inspired my first book. But here's the thing, is that also taught me, the first encounter and the second encounter taught me that you don't always know when you are interacting with someone that's the thing that's going to change their life. I remember someone liked a guy who liked me, and I'm a worker outer and a marathon runner. And so she went and got in really good shape. And then she was in a devastating car accident. And they said, if you hadn't been in good shape, you would have died.
Wow.
And so she sent me a message and said, you actually saved my life. You inspired me to work out. Right? Those types of things. I've had people say, oh, I met you in a bathroom at a conference and you were so nice to me. I have no recollection of that. So sometimes you're the person who is the person people remember interacting with. Always be kind, be nice, right? And sometimes you are the person who's interacting with the person that you admire or that you know of. And I also was at a Pro Bowl game in Hawaii, and I met a famous football player, and I said, I only had $1 bill on me. And my stepson at the time was a huge fan of this football player. And I was like, would you mind signing this? He's like, ugh. And he was just such a jerk. No, I'm not going to say who it is.
Can you tell me what team you played for? Just joking.
No.
Big fan.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, there you go.
Not your team. It wasn't a Giants player.
It wasn't the Giants. Clearly not the Giants.
Clearly, obviously, all the Giants players are extra lovely.
That's right.
But what I'm saying is, like, I remember that 30-second encounter. And he has no recollection of it. But
No.
to this day, when he's commentating on a football game, I'm always like, that guy's a jerk. What team and what position? Charlie, I'll tell you at the crawfish boil.
There.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there. He's going to show up at your house and you're going to be like, holy crap, the guy showed up. That's what he does.
I'm glad. I'm waiting. I'm right here. I'm right here. Byron's downstairs right now with a pot of coffee.
Oh my God, those two will be like two peas in a pod. I'm serious.
Definitely. So anyway, by setting the standard for me means paying attention to when I've been made or someone's tried to make me feel little or insignificant or unseen. And also when people have, I'm asking Charlie. And also when people have gone out of their way to be kind and not been a believer of their own press. I have this little piece of my personal philosophy that says I give the same weight to you're amazing that I do you're terrible. If the person doesn't really know me. Because if someone's like, oh, you're amazing, I'm like, you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really, yeah.
Thanks. You. Thank you. But I can't be like, oh, well, this strange person who's read 30 pages of one of my books thinks I'm an amazing person. I appreciate that. But I don't walk around going, Byron, this person thinks I'm amazing. That's my husband. Like, if he doesn't think I'm amazing, then it's bad. Yeah. If he thinks I'm terrible, then it's bad.
Yeah.
But in general, I think people give too much weight to the opinions of the general population, just my opinion. But I do find that it's important to make people comfortable and seen, regardless of their position, whether or not they can do something for you today or tomorrow or ever. How do you find what other people say about the person you are in business with influencing your business decisions? Huge, huge. Wayne, that is so huge because it's a small world.
Yep.
I was on an airplane one time. I was on an airplane not to or from the city I lived in, and I ended up sitting next to a guy, and it turns out that his wife worked for one of my clients. He had nothing nice to say about this client of mine, who I knew was a really nice guy. But this guy was like, my wife's, and of course I'm poker face. I'm saying nothing at all. But I was like, it is a small world.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a small, small world. And you have to be really careful what you say about people and who you say it to.
Yep.
Because your friend today could be your enemy tomorrow, and they're going to turn around and run their mouth about what you said. So you got to be really careful about what you say. But also, Bob Berg, who is the author of The Go-Giver, has something that he says, whenever you're talking about someone behind their back, say only nice things. And I actually know two people in the Nashville area, and one of them just talks smack about this other person, just throws them under the bus, the worst person. And then that person was like, how are we connected? And he's like, isn't it this person? And I was like, I think so. Oh, I love that person. They are just the most wonderful person in the world. And I thought I was being punked for a second.
How could these two people have such different opinions?
How did these two people? But this person, this guy number one, is like just a positive person and only sees good things. And this person over here is, I'm going to say jealous and critical of this person. And so the perception is totally different. But I thought, even if this person over here is like, I don't really like this person, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know Honoree's opinion. I'm just going to say nice things. That could be the policy too. It's like, I'm only going to say something or I'm going to say nothing. So that's really my policy. My policy is either like, Lucas is the best person in the world, or I know Lucas.
Yeah. Know him well.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
You've met.
Yeah. You're like, what would you?
I've met that guy.
Yeah, I've met that guy. Boy, have I met that guy. Well, when I was in the military, I went to boot camp, obviously, and I'm in boot camp, and this one guy, like, was one of the company commanders there, and which is like a drill sergeant for those people that are not in the different services, but his job was to be like evil, right? That's their job, is to make life less than desirable for you for several months. So I have this interaction with him while I'm in boot camp. And several years later, my brother's joining the service, and I walk into the office, and now I'm an E6, not an E1, right?
Right.
And we walk in there to talk to this guy who's helping get my brother in the service. And my jaw about hit the floor, because there's the guy. He's sitting there.
Captain Evil.
There's the dude, and he's an E5. And I said, hey, you don't remember me, but I met you in boot camp, and we had a less than favorable exchange, even for boot camp, right? Like, you kind of lost your professionalism for a moment there. And he goes, oh, really? And he's like, tries to quickly change the story, right? And he's like, well, you seem to be doing really well for yourself. And I'm like, yep. And you're the same.
And you're still in E5.
You're right where you were when I left you the last time.
Wow.
And it's probably because of just your general behavior, the way you carry yourself, your moral and ethical. And I'm saying probably because obviously I wasn't there with him the whole time that we were apart. But it was a little eye-opening to see the change, right? Like, sometimes your position or your station in an industry or in some organization or whatever can have a lot to do with the way people perceive you. And I wasn't sure if that guy was really crazy or not. Turns out he's a really nice guy. We just had a bad run-in, but it turns out he was a really nice guy. Other things had actually precluded him from getting where he was wanting to go. But I guess the moral of the story is, like, you never really know who you're going to run into in the future. And if you tend to just treat people with this blanket approach because of who you think you are or who you don't think they are, you can get yourself in a pinch. And it'll happen over time, right? Like, so they say time heals all wounds. Well, sometimes time brings everything.
Sometimes it does not. Sometimes it does not.
Sometimes it brings things around in a way that, call it karma or whatever you want, divine intervention or whatever.
Same people on the way down you see on the way up. And
I love that.
If you're on the way down and you're struggling and you've been nice to people, all you have to do is call somebody and go, hey, I'm struggling. And they'll be like, what can I do? How can I, like, I have seen people go, this guy needs business. He doesn't have any business. He's struggling right now. Diagnosis. Lost a job. Something's going on. Like, everybody like runs to help. And I see people,
Voltron.
Yeah. How do we find work for this person? How do we find a place to live for this person? How do we support this person? What can we do? Let's circle the wagons. And other people are like, well, they're kind of getting their comeuppance. They're kind of getting their due. And they'll sit back and cheer. Some people are not kind that way. They'll go, well, that person wasn't nice to me, so I'm going to wish that on them. Also, they might not have heard about the law of karma. But, okay, if you cheer for something bad to happen to someone else, then you're putting that out and it's going to come back to you multiplied. So be careful. But I think it's all.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks for hanging out with us, Wayne.
Yeah, we're always happy to see you.
I have to assume you're still in Egypt.
It's supper time, I think, right? Or I don't know. I don't know what time it is in Egypt right now. I'm making it up. Go have something delicious, whether it's breakfast or dinner.
I love that you bring up the example of somebody falling on bad times and needing some help, and that there's actually like people that will step in to help you in this industry. Because I get this sense that, especially for solopreneurs, that they feel like they're alone, right? They don't have that network. Oftentimes when I talk to other veterans, they lament that we lost camaraderie when we left the service. We lost connection with people. They can't imagine being in the shoes of an entrepreneur because they feel like that's such at the far end of the spectrum. And the reality is you still build your network. You still build a group of people to love and embrace and support you in what you're doing. It's just different. You have to build it through developing relationships over time rather than being given orders to be stuck in a ship together.
Right. I was going to say your command isn't your isn't assigned to you.
Yeah.
You don't get orders like show up and these are the people that you're going in the foxhole with, right? You have to find your people. But when you find your people and you say, look, I'm having a time of it right now, or this is what I need, people rise to the occasion. In fact, a lot of times you don't even have to ask for it. Right. I don't think you asked for everybody to buy your book, or right? They just kind of go, when's your book out? I'm going to buy it.
Oh yeah. I was floored with the results of my launch, because I just was genuinely surprised by how many people supported it. And it has nothing to do with anything other than every one of those people that left me a nice review, I have a relationship with.
Yeah.
Now the book is great, but I know the book didn't do that work, right? Like the relationships did that work. It could be a great book and no one could leave a review.
Yeah. Well, you're doing better. Your book is doing significantly better than this book I was watching and have been watching that was launched. And big advanced reader team, all the videos, all the emails, and like 4 days after launch, there are 4 reviews, which is not good.
And I bet it's a great book. Just making an assumption.
Just making an assumption that it's a book that's well done. The art is good. The artwork is good. The cover is good. The book description is good. I've definitely kept an eye on it.
Yeah.
And now we're up to 5 reviews.
There you go.
March 9th release on the book, 5 reviews, and it's the 16th. That's not good. That's not.
It's less than favorable.
Right. It's yes. And it's certainly not what the author expected based on what I saw and read. So it's a little bit heartbreaking for me on behalf of that author, because I do never wish. English is my first language. I don't wish.
We could say you spoke it, you didn't write it, so you're forgiven.
Right? Everybody needs an editor. Apparently I need one like standing next to me while I'm talking.
Where's Karen Hunsinger when we need her?
Where's Karen Hunsinger? I don't know. I never wish for anyone's book to fail. I always want people to have a magical experience with their book where it just gets wings and flies and does really well. So
something just occurred to me, because I was trying to think through, like, all right, what points have we not discussed or maybe touched on briefly that would impact entrepreneurs that are watching this, people just like us. But I think one of them is, like, I love the fact that because of the work you've done, the work I do, the work that we do as entrepreneurs, and the way we do it gives us the freedom to have certain leverage with our professional relationships when it comes to the kind of tangibles of business, right? Like I can very comfortably charge what I charge it when I charge it, do the kind of work I do, and not feel any regret, not feel guilt, not feel like I'm not delivering, not feeling like I'm not giving my best to people. And I feel like if you stray away from the honest relationships, that starts to creep in. You start to lose the ability over time, because things will catch up to you. You'll lose the ability to have those freedoms as an entrepreneur that kind of fed into some of the false confidence that you might develop through success, right? So if you are able to charge up front, if you're able to demand a significant sticker price for your services, if you are the kind of person that can draw an audience based on your reputation and your work, all of that is at risk by not being the right person to people.
Yep.
So it's just very detrimental to the health of your long-term success, and you kind of lose the right to be able to do those things with and for other people because of a loss of reputation, right?
Yep. I think when in doubt, take the royal family stance and say nothing.
It always works.
Rest really well, smile, and march on, right?
That's right.
Keep calm and march on. Charlie says, what I tell all of my students is I can teach you the information and how to manage a project, but I can't teach you personality, right? We establish our reputation the first interaction we have with people. Yeah, I mean, it really is. First impressions matter. And how you think people perceive you. It's like I remember meeting someone for like the 10th time, and she had asked me to come to her office, and I worked with her company, but I didn't work with her. And she said, "Can you come to my office?" And she said, "I've really always liked you." And I'm thinking to myself, could you have told your face? because every time I interacted with her, like I would like go with her in the hallway, and she would like seemingly go the other direction. And I guess she just was, did not have that kind of a personality that, very professional, very reserved, all those things. But it's like, if you like someone, smile at them.
Yeah.
Hi, nice to see you. Something, anything.
It works.
Yeah. But it would be so nice, Charlie, if we could order a personality from Amazon and just have it delivered to someone.
I told you the story. I was rarely ever discriminated against in the military, but I was in a brief with some very senior officers at headquarters one time. There's like captains and admirals in the room. And this one commander says, Lieutenant Commander Marino, what office do you represent? And I said, Office of Naval Engineering. And she says out loud in front of everybody, imagine that, an engineer with a personality. And they all laugh. And I was like, I can't argue with you, but like, it's just like that reputation that you as an individual, and that you as
Renee is going to take offense to that as an engineer. She's going to be like, wait a minute. Because
she's probably laughing. We deal with that the whole time,
well, some people have a personality and they don't let it out. They think from a professionalism standpoint, they have to reserve it.
Oh, that's such a good point.
But I do a little bit too. When I'm first getting to know a client, I want them, we're doing a book. This is very serious. Books are very serious. And I try to just say, I take your book seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously, because given the right conditions, I'm going to trip over something and land on my face.
Sure. It's going to happen. It's inevitable.
Probably going to happen. I'm going to drop something. I'm going to run into something. It's going to happen. Super, super possible. No matter how many lunges and stability exercises I do, I'm a giant, right? So it's like, it's a long fall. It's just going to happen.
You are a tall person.
I'm tall. Yeah, it's just going to happen. It's totally fine. But I don't take myself too seriously. I take what I do seriously. I take my commitment to things seriously, but kind of go, what are you going to do?
That's great.
I think we should talk about referral fees, but maybe we should save that for our next live, right?
Yeah, let's hook them. Let's throw a little hook out there, though. Why is that important? I mean, you're 100% correct. It's like, that's a substantial amount of income for some people.
Sending it or receiving it, or both?
Both. I mean, some people, they make a very nice living off of referral fees because they're referring good people with certain level of services, right?
Yeah. So I think, well documented, and it's widely known, if not well known, that I pay referral fees and affiliate fees for business that people send to me. And I was sitting with a guy who his ideal client and his client base is my ideal client base all day long. And so he refers people to me all the time. And I'm very upfront about it. If you send business to me, I'm going to send money to you. And the only asterisk to this, because I think this is important to say, is I'm going to send money to you unless you're a jerk. Then I'm going to take the same money that you would have gotten, and I'm going to donate it to either Family and Children's Services or Rotary. Because
you still put it in circulation.
I still put it in circulation because I believe in that. But every so often I'll get, some kind of an attitude. So I just go, all right, well, it's not required. Don't send me an invoice for the referral fee, right? It's not a bill. I want to put it out there and I want to send it. So that's the caveat for it. But I think it's important because a lot of people live in the world of, it's a zero-sum game. If you're successful, I have to be unsuccessful. A lot of people live in the world of like, everything that comes to me is mine. And I am a firm believer in that. If someone puts money in your pocket, put money in their pocket. Take a portion of what you've received. It's a reasonable amount. So for me, if it's a service-based fee, it's 10%. If it's like a course or something like that, I pay more because the work's already done. It's just basically awesome income, right? And
Right.
so there's a little bit of service I have to provide, but I can pay a bigger referral fee. And so this guy I was talking to, he said, I have put millions of dollars in the pockets of people. I've made introductions and they've done businesses together and I've made them millions of dollars. And not one person has ever sent me so much as a Starbucks gift card.
Ah, that's
And
crazy.
I said, well, there are ways to encourage that to happen. And I think we can talk about it next week, but just to give someone a line of sight, it's like you're creating a problem, you're creating congestion. So the problem is a lot of times congestion, hoarding, holding on to things that you don't need. And the antidote to that is circulation. And so the way to kind of keep that going, and also who's going to work hard? Like he's already like referring me people because he's like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like, incentivized to do this.
The prospect of this is really cool. Right now, if I were not good at what I did, I had a bad reputation, I had, blah, 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 right. He's not going to refer anyone to me because he doesn't want to hear from his bougie clients that I did a bad job. So that's not going to happen. But he's working very hard and it'll be very fun to send him a red envelope with referral money in it. I am old school. I send a check.
Yes, you do.
So, yes, I did get a referral fee from someone. And so this is the part that I wanted to share is when I talk to someone and I say, I'd like to refer business to you. And I just want you to know, if you are a person who refers business, I pay a referral fee. And people find this fascinating because they're like, I've never thought of this idea. This isn't something that I do. And so I had talked to this gal and I had referred her clients. And so she said, I don't have any checks. I'm a millennial. She said in the most millennial way possible, can I please send you Venmo?
You're like, yep.
How can I send you money electronically? I'm like, well, how you send it to me is totally your choice. I'm going to send you a paper check because I want to send a thank you. I want it to be a big deal and I want it to be received with the reverence with which I send it. So anyway, I think we should talk about that next week, but
that's what we're doing.
I'd love to know if people pay referral fees, if you thought about paying referral fees. Obviously you're just, you don't have to necessarily do it if you're in a profession that prohibits it. If you're a fiduciary, that's obviously, but if you're an entrepreneur and somebody puts money in your pocket, send them a thank you. Even if it's not a percentage, right? Even if it's just $100 or $50 or something, like I encourage you to give in the measure you want returned to you multiplied. However, if that's rough, give it a try and watch if you don't then see more circulation come your direction. So there's the challenge for the week.
There you go. And we could wrap some affiliate conversation in there too, because
we will.
It's a great way to kind of formalize that relationship.
Yes, 100%.
With your business. And I'm always advocating for that with my course creation clients because I love to see it in action in my own business. And I'll tell you guys, there's times when that saves my bacon. Like I've got some affiliate partners that are just super active with promoting and bringing people to the table for courses and other events. And there's times when those people will outperform me or other people that are involved in selling products. And I'm like, wow, like to not have that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about not only what to do, when to do, how to do it, why to do it next week. So
awesome. So we've got some Rambo action.
Yep.
Obviously. Says she likes it.
Yep.
We like you. Thanks, Renee. Yes, I'm sending referral fees. Yep, that's Jen.
Yes.
Awesome. You taught me about referral fees, like how to manage them properly and kind of set that up properly. So I appreciate that. Honoree, that was one of the first things you taught me, actually. All right, guys. Well, we are going to go ahead and wrap. We're at the very top of the hour. Again, it is lunchtime. I got my mind on that Amy's soup. What's up? French garden vegetable. I think that's what it's called. French country vegetable. Let's call him a name.
He's going to send you a case of soup.
Yeah, I'm a simple person. That works. Today's episode was obviously sponsored by Amazing Humans, one of which is Helen Bullen and Helen's course, Commit to Achieve, which you can find at empirebuildersmasterclass.com. She is amazing. And if you have any questions about that course, what you'll find in it, and you don't see the answers on that landing page, one, I'll be offended because I built the landing page. Two, you can email me.
My friend Lucas in the military, they taught him how to kill people with
be like, hey, I built that. So if you don't find the answers you're looking for, you can reach out to me, or you can talk to Helen directly, and we'd be happy to talk to you. Thanks, Pops. All right. Good conversation, everyone. Honoree, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And we encourage everyone to make sure you subscribe, do all the stuff the kids tell you to do with the buttons. Click the button, make sure you get the notifications in the next episode, and we'll see you guys in a week. Same bad time, same bad channel.